Welcome to another episode of Networking with Paratosh Pathak. In this podcast, we're talking about a very powerful concept called selling authentically. Let's understand this, that selling is one of the most beautiful things in the world. It's also one of the most misunderstood thing in the world. It's also the most resisted thing in the world. But it is absolutely amazing. Nothing in this world moves until and unless somebody sells something. But in today's world, a lot of selling is going wrong because far too many people are focusing on the techniques of selling and they're thinking the techniques are everything. They're not. Techniques are important. I don't deny that. But they're not everything. Now, focusing just on the sale, if your objective is just to get the sale, is a great strategy, but in the short term. In the long term, this is not going to help out, right? Why? Because selling is about the people that you're selling to. It is not about your sale happening. This is a huge distinction that's very important to be understood. Now, the three key conversations I want to have with you today. Number one, to sell freely and authentically, you need to understand the value of what you sell. And not the value of the product or service, rather the impact that it creates in the life of the people that you sell to. And I'm not talking about the taglines, the mafia offers that are being taught by so many people out there in the world. They're good. They're pretty good. Not going to take that away. But that's not what I'm referring to. My question to you is, what happens in the world of the person who buys from you? Do you understand that? That after somebody has bought from you, what impact comes in the world? And it doesn't matter whether you're selling a product or a service, whether you're selling a hairpin or training and coaching. It doesn't matter. If somebody's paying you money for something, they're getting some value, they're getting some impact. And far too many business owners, salespeople today, cannot actually pen down the impact that is coming in the world of the people that they're selling to from the products and services that they are selling. And this is crazy. I want you to try this today. Grab a piece of pen and paper and try writing the impact that your product and service is creating. And I'm not just talking about you giving a software that is doing some cost cutting. You got a question. Why is that cost cutting important? Because it increases profits? Okay. Why are profits important? Right? And when you keep questioning like this, you'll probably understand that a small piece of software that you are selling is so vital in somebody being able to achieve the potential of their organization. And when you get that, the sense of power, the sense of value that comes, the conversation that you have with people changes. What you sell changes. After you understand the impact, you actually stop selling the product. You start selling the value. And a lot of people today are going around selling the benefits that, hey, when you use our software, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, that's going to happen. Those are the benefits, and those are important conversations. I'm not going to take that away. But that's not what you're supposed to be selling. So take time, and this is going to be difficult. I'm promising you that right now. Take time, sit down, pen and paper, all technology distractions away, and figure out what impact comes in the world of the person who buys from you. Second, earn the right to sell before you sell. Yeah, right? In fact, get this. How would it be if people lowered their resistance when you were selling to them? Imagine you're going to a networking event, a sales meeting, wherever, and you want to sell, and the other person saying, okay, cool, tell me, I want to listen to you. I want to hear you out. Instead of saying, tell me, what do you have? How would that be? That's possible. When you're selling freely and authentically, people would be willing to give you a chance, no matter how theoretical this may sound, but this really happens. This is what the great salespeople in the world are capable of achieving. They're able to lower the barrier, the resistance that the other person have, and until and unless that barrier and resistance doesn't come down, these great salespeople don't sell. And these great salespeople exist everywhere. They're in business houses. They are in government. right? They are teachers, they are leaders, they're influencers, they're everywhere. The philosophy is the same. They earn the right to sell before they sell. If you've ever encountered a situation where you met someone and you wanted to follow up with it, and they weren't responding. You met them at an event. They said, okay, yeah, this is important. Send me an email. And you send them an email and you tried calling them and they're not responding. 99.99% in the conversation that happened back then where they said, connect with me, you didn't earn the right to sell. Now, what is this thing called earning the right to sell? We've been talking about it, okay? And how do you go around earning the right to sell? You earn the right to sell to someone by making their world, their objective, their goals more important than your goal of selling. Now, a lot of people who are selling today are too focused on their world. They're talking about their goals, their targets, that they need so many numbers to be achieved, etc., etc. And there's very little conversation in their world, in their day, about why somebody would buy. They're too focused on how they would sell. Understand the difference. If you truly want others to give you the right to sell, which means the barrier is lowered and they want to hear from you what you have to offer, then you need to understand their world. You need to understand what goes on in their world. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are the challenges they're facing? Right? What would inspire them to have a product or service like you, like what you're offering? And the deeper that you understand, the more that you understand their world, the more people will give you a right to sell. Theodore Roosevelt once said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It's pretty powerful. Right? Once you can get people to understand, to see that you care about their win and not just yours, they'll come along. Authentic selling, and this is a completely different dimension of it. Authentic selling requires you to value those who may not buy from you. In fact, how authentic is your selling can be easily measured by looking at how you treat people who don't buy from you, people who may not agree to your product, what you have to offer. Now, when you start treating people with kindness, when you start caring for them, when you start respecting them for the decision that they have made, you've done everything, you've tried everything, and they're still not buying. When you don't cut your communication with them, when you don't go and start bad-mouthing them behind their back, that is when we get to know. Think about it. How many times you decide not to buy from someone? It's your right to decide that, right? Similarly, it is the right of the other people to decide whether they want to buy from you or they don't want to buy from you. But when you become the kind of person who doesn't stop caring about them, even when they've not bought from you, it gives you so much power. There's so much of alignment within, between your thoughts and emotions. And as a result of that, amazing things will happen tomorrow when they will meet you, they will talk to you nicely, they will introduce you to other people. They may not buy from you and still refer you ahead because you're not being driven by only your objective. You understand the world of the other person too. Cool. So let's summarize this. 1, take time and figure out the real value, the impact of what you are selling. The more that you understand this, the better your sale is going to become. It is not about your product, your service. It is about the value, the impact that is coming in the world of the person who's buying from you. Number 2, to sell, you need to buy first. What do you need to buy? The right to sell. How do you buy that? You buy that by understanding their world, by making their world more important than yours, by making their win more important than your sale. And I know this sounds cliched, but it is true. And third, learn to value people, respect people, even when they don't buy from you. Because this is where a lot of power in selling comes from. Try these 3 things out. All right, cool. Now, thank you for listening to this podcast. Do let me know your thoughts on this, any other conversation you want me to pick up during this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care. God bless.